This is what was left after Storm Pyrrhic battered West Sussex, and the River Arun burst its banks. The seaside town of Littlehampton is often at risk of flooding, but nothing like this. The rescue operation began around midnight. One person showing signs of hypothermia was taken to hospital as fire and rescue teams moved in to move residents on. More than 200 people were evacuated, most of them forced to flee from Medmerry holiday park.
The drifts, like Robinson Crusoe. Incredible.
Among them, Paul Maskell. He spent 3 hours stranded on his decking, drifting further and further away from his holiday chalet.
She was on the bed, nearly on the bed, and I see the bed lift and the bed started floating. So now I know it was time to get out. And the sofa was floating and everything was floating, everything was just floating around.
13 miles up the road, others assess what's left of their home. Peter's lived here for 12 years. He stayed at his son's house when the floods hit. We went with him as he returned to take a look at the damage.
They suggested we went upstairs, but I thought that was a bit of a non-entity.
Heavy rain, strong winds and high tides plunged Littlehampton underwater. Residents were told to move to higher ground, but at this bungalow estate, that wasn't possible. Many people here say they simply weren't alerted as to how severe the flooding would be.
We were given warning, but it was, to me, it wasn't emphasised enough that it was going to be of this magnitude. All of a sudden, there was like a deluge. The deluge came over, and it was like this, and it just came through our doors, and it was a frightening experience to see this kind of height in your front living room.
It means businesses like this one in this shipyard are now in limbo.
It probably had at least this much inside the workshop.
Really? Still without power and unable to get back to work.
I haven't even started to add the cost up, you know. We're not insured here for flooding because it is in a risk area.
So we're talking hundreds of pounds, thousands?
Thousands. You know, I don't even know yet because of until we get some power on, which nobody seems to know when that's coming.
The stormy weather didn't discriminate. Strong winds pummeled the Devonshire coast too, while parts of the Wirral were buffeted by floodwater as fast winds met high tides. The flooding comes after record rainfall seen in England in the past 18 months. Those evacuated remain displaced, and forecasters warn that even more heavy rain and strong winds are on the way. Siobhan Freeman-Powell, Sky News in West Sussex.